Okay, welcome back to Pez's podcast. Today I'm here with Coach Piercy of Mid Valley Softball, 12-time district champ, 19-time league title, and PIAA state runner-up 2021, 2023 PIAA state champion. Welcome on.
Thanks, man. Glad to be here, buddy. This is a cool thing you have going on here. I got to watch a couple of the earlier episodes, and figured I'd come join on and see
Yeah,
see what's going on here.
yeah. Thank you very much. So, starting off, how was practice today? I know you guys are getting ready for districts on Wednesday.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, hot one out there today. We did a Memorial Day cookout, and that's kind of one of the traditions we have. We know if we're having a Memorial Day cookout, that means we're in the hunt for the district title. The game usually follows a few days after Memorial Day, so that's one thing we talk about early in the year. We want to get to this point where we could have this fun day. The kids wore the red, white, and blue shirts and stuff. We had some different music on, but good workout today.
Team bonding too definitely helps with that.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it too. We'll take a couple days here and there, and maybe skip a practice and do a team-related event just to get all the kids kind of on the same page, firing together. That's an important part of everything as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, being Mid Valley being your alma mater, what's it like coming back and coaching for your alma mater and having success with it?
Yeah, it's really cool, and I always joke around that I didn't go very far. I started here. I actually lived pretty close to where I grew up. Um, I think the neat part is, I mean, we had some great coaches going up through high school for us, but unfortunately during my years, we really didn't win much. No matter what sport it was, success wasn't there yet. So, a little extra special that I could come back here and help lead a program that's, kind of getting it done every year, and certainly just not us. We have a lot of programs right now. I mean, you look, fall sports, winter sports, summer sports.
Yeah,
We're making noise in all areas, and it's cool to
yeah.
be a part of.
Both baseball, softball, track. I mean, it would be pretty cool for all three of our sports to be district champions. So definitely, that's definitely a goal. By the end of my career, I know I definitely want to see everybody get a district championship. So what sports did you play growing up?
Yeah, growing up, football and baseball, and football, I would say was my number one. That's what I wanted to do. I mean, you see how it is, like the brotherhood you create in a
Yeah,
football. It's
yeah,
just different than any other sport. So that was my number one. And I actually went to Bloomsburg out of high school. I thought I was going to play football there. It didn't last really long. Wanted to come home, that kind of thing, and I ended up playing college baseball. And at Lackawanna College, I came home and went there, and I loved it, and I ended up playing 4 years of college
yeah,
baseball.
yeah.
So that ended up being kind of my main game at the end of the day.
Yeah. Now you mentioned football. Now, how has Frank Pizzalia? Obviously, he coached with them. Did he coach you as well, or?
Yeah, no. So he was when I was playing here at Mid Valley. He was coaching at Valley View,
Okay.
and he was. We had a lot of friends at Valley View, and we didn't have great results back when I was playing football here. But Valley View, every year they were undefeated. They won the Big 12 title. They'd be going to districts and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Fast forward 10 years, he leaves Valley View and he starts to coach here.
Yeah.
So, I was kind of a teacher here, and, I was excited. I was thinking, wow, we have a guy who won a state title who's coming to coach our kids now.
Yep.
So, I was able to get my way on staff. So I was a volunteer coach here, and, I learned a ton from Coach Pizzalia. Just the level of preparation and detail to everything. When I first started coaching, I think I was doing JV baseball, and we'd kind of show up and be like, hey, what are we going to do today? Maybe we'll do some hitting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do a little bit of this and that. And watching Coach Pizzalia, you'd walk in and all the coaches would get a paper, and 10 to 10-10 is stretching. 10-10 to 10-20, linemen are going here, receivers here, quarterbacks here, and there was a 2.5 hour script that was broken down every 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, wow,
Yeah. Yeah.
this took a lot of time to put together.
Yep.
And, they say, success leaves clues, right? So,
Yeah.
seeing somebody who was kind of a legend in the football game, see how detailed his practice plans were, that was something that stuck with me right from the beginning. Like, I need to get this kind of detail. And, it's something to this day. I think I have every practice we had over the last 12 years is in a script somewhere.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, I mean, that was one big thing that I took away, just that level of preparation and just the time commitment. It was the same field house. We'd be here every day. Sunday nights, there'd be film sessions, just coaches only. It'd be like 6 to 9 o'clock. You'd be
Yeah.
here, you'd watch the film, you'd prepare for the next week. So just seeing that, as a coach, you're not just there for the practice, right? You're there with the team for the practice, but once you leave the practice, you're analyzing what went well, what went wrong. You're making the practice for the next day. So I guess just seeing the time that you really have to put in to be successful, that was
Yeah.
kind of probably my biggest takeaway from Coach Vazalia there.
Absolutely. So now, how do you take something like football, you were a football coach, and kind of channel that into softball coach, but keeping the same attitude and expectations almost? How did you really like change that?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. And, to be honest, I think coaching and leadership, the sport you're playing is just the medium, right? You could take philosophies from, the X's and O's are different,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Girls softball, boys football. But, just how you run a program, the culture that you create, those are things that are transferable. You could take that in any sort of leadership aspect that you have. So, um, and then I would just say, I think times have changed. This is my 18th year as an educator. So, 20 years, 18 years ago, maybe more of an in your face, yelling at kids, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. That was, more of a thing. And now, that's not the way we run things up there. We have super high expectations of the kids. They know, like, hey, I'm 15 minutes early to practice. I got to do
Yeah,
X, Y,
yeah.
and Z. But they're so conditioned and trained and bought in. The screaming, the extra conditioning, the getting mad, that kind of stuff. We kind of filtered all that stuff out. And I just think we have really high expectations for our kids, but we also offer a ton of support. If
Yep.
someone's struggling, we're there helping them. We have a great staff who loves the kids. I mean, if you look at today, that cookout, I had two coaches at the grocery store at 8 in the morning buying things for the kids.
Yeah.
A volunteer came up to cook. Everybody's cleaning up now. So just having a culture of kids and coaches that are bought in, I mean, I think that's a huge factor.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how did like what really got you into coaching? Was it kind of just like Pizzalia coming to Mid Valley, or was it kind of just like I did this, I seen a lot of good coaches,
Yeah.
I want to be one of those good coaches?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. I mean, at first it's like, I played sports, hey, I know what I'm doing, I could coach. And that's not the case. I thought I could. I, took over football and I'm like, geez, I don't know. I was a wide receiver. I don't know what the guard's supposed to do.
Yeah,
So, I guess I just loved sports my whole life. And in high school and college, I don't want to say that's what got me through high school and college, but if you looked at my priorities, sports was definitely high up there. I think you
yeah.
learn so many life lessons
Oh
from
yeah,
sports. So, I've always been a big sports guy, so that's what got me into it. And I started with JV baseball. I did some strength and conditioning. I did some football, and then I really just wanted my own program. I wanted something that that I could be, I could lead. And the softball came up, and it was some people kind of talked to me like, hey, you should put in, you should do this, and I was scared because I didn't know anything about softball pitching. Right, that's a
yeah,
total different beast. I had no experience,
yeah, yeah.
and they kind of said, do your thing, you'll learn that. And so that softball was kind of a curveball. I never set out to be a softball coach, but once I kind of got going, I became obsessed with it. And, I'm really glad I did get into it
Yeah,
because it's
yeah,
a lot of fun right now.
yeah, yeah. You guys are definitely a very successful program. Now, here's a moment that I want you to look back on. So, 2021, you guys went to the state championship. You guys lost 3-5 to Mount Pleasant. What was kind of that? What was kind of going through your head when you kind of realized you lost and like the whole everything around it?
Yeah, that was a tough one, and that was probably one of that loss, and then the next year. Well, I'll start with that loss. I mean, you just don't think you're ever going to get back. That's the tough part because even though we had a ton of kids returning, and you could say, oh, your pitcher's back, your big hitters are back. They were, but it's not easy to win your district. It's not easy to win 3 playoff games and then get to the state title game. You have to get a couple breaks. So I think the heartbreaking thing was just like, I may never get back here again. Like, this
Yeah,
was the one chance that we had. Most teams don't find a way to get back again. So it was a tough couple of weeks after, to be honest, because, yeah, I mean, you know how it is. When you dedicate your life to something, the more time you put into something, and when it doesn't go your way, it's tough to
yeah,
handle.
yeah,
So that was really tough. And then the following year, we won the district again, and we get a home state playoff game, and we lose in the first round in front of all our fans at home. Like, that was devastating as well. So both
yeah,
of those were just like, man, it's just tough when the season ends, no matter when it is. I mean, you've been there when the football season ended. No one wants it to end, especially if it's in the playoffs. You go into the game thinking, hey, maybe I have next week.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you lose, you don't.
Yeah.
And it feels like a punch in the gut, I guess, when it ends. So.
Yeah, so that was more fuel for last year's state championship team. I know you guys were definitely very dedicated. Obviously, Ava plays. So I went to all the games and everything. I mean, it was very, very impressive to see what you guys did and how you guys did throughout the entire season. Definitely a little closer than I think everybody wanted it to be. That 1-0 was definitely a little scary, but definitely experience. Is that, would you say that's your top moment throughout coaching sports? Is kind of looking out in the state and being like, oh, okay, we have one of the best programs in the state.
Yeah, and winning that game was definitely, probably the top moment. But, mentioning what you said about one of the best programs in the state, I think it was 2017 or 18, we created a vision statement. So we had coaches and players. We formed a committee and we had a bunch of meetings, and we wanted a North Star. You know what I mean? Something we could always look at, and we even got a sign made of it, and it said something along the lines of, we want to be considered one of the state's elite softball teams. That was our number one goal, and we kind of told the girls this is our vision. This is what we're gonna do. Now, how do we get there? Right? Yeah. So we kind of broke it down further. Well, what do we have to do to be considered the state's elite softball team? And that's when we looked at, we need kids who are committed. We need work ethic, right? When we're there, we have to, leave it all out there. We have to have synergy, right? We have to get along and pick each other up. Yeah. That's the big thing, no matter what. And you see that a lot with this year's team. We've been down 5 times this year, and somebody else gets a big hit every time. But, I just think putting it out there, and everybody, I think, thought it was an unrealistic vision. We're not going to win the state title, but that was our vision. We're going to win championships. And I think that's the culture we have now. There's not one kid up there who's surprised we're playing for the district title on Wednesday. Yeah. And I really mean that. And I think maybe community members and other teams are like, oh, they lost everybody, they're not going to be there. Those kids, they 100% believed that they could get back here and they could win it again. Yeah. And that's just how it is every year. And I know we're not going to win it every year, but our mindset is that we're going to, be one of those elite teams. And if we take care of our business, we're going to win it. Yeah. So, we feel like we're going to go out there, win that game, and then go try to make a state run. So that's where we're at. That's our mentality. Yeah. And it's, credit the kids. They buy into it and they believe it.
Yeah.
And,
So with that being said, what are the expectations for Wednesday?
Yeah, go out there and win, and then get ready for states. And, it's going to be tough. They're a really good team, but, if our pitcher throws the way she could, if our defense plays the way they played the whole year, and if our offense does the things that they've been all year, we're going to battle. There'll be ups and downs. We might get behind, but we think our expectation is that we're going to win this game and keep this rolling.
Yeah. Now, do you guys think that having that you guys had almost a week with – you guys had 2 scrimmages that week, I believe.
Yep.
Hazelton and Wallenpaupack.
Yep.
So because of the new facilities and everything, do you think that really helped your team?
Yeah, the facilities are just amazing. I was telling somebody, I think we practiced indoors 3 times this year. I'd say in a normal year, you're inside 20 times. Yeah. But the field is just ready at all times. Yeah. So, that's just such a big advantage. And for me, it just shows how much the district and the community supports the athletic programs. Yeah. Obviously academics are the most important. We're a school. We're here to educate kids. But, being that, the administrators, the superintendent, the school board, they took on this huge project. Imagine, you're a kid right now. You're in ninth grade. These next 4 years, you have the nicest facilities around. Yeah. So, just me as a coach, and I'm sure the kids feel the same way. They just have to feel a ton of support from everybody involved. You guys are getting, a first-class experience the whole way. And, I think our kids deserve that, so that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it just makes everybody want to work that much harder to have success in general. Just being with the fields, you could go get work whenever you want. You don't have to worry about if it's snowing, if it's raining or anything. Yep. So I think that's definitely a huge part of how much success we're having as a whole. We have girls soccer played for a district championship, football district playoffs, basketball went down district final. I think all around us, our athletics are really picking up, and I think what it comes down to is the work ethic and obviously having the facilities to handle that.
Yeah, you just want to be out here, right?
Yeah.
You flick the lights on, you feel like you're in a Division I college,
Yeah.
right? Looking at this facility, so that's definitely a huge advantage that I really learned this year how much of an advantage it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to end it here. Thank you very much for coming on. Um, Anything you have to say before the district final?
No, man, just proud of you. You're doing an awesome job. I
Thank
remember
you.
you running through
Thank
the
you.
elementary. I think it takes a lot of courage to a freshman start a podcast and invite adults
Yep.
and seniors and kids older than you, but you handle it like a champ, man. So I'm proud of you. I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you very much. This is Coach Mike Piercy, and I'm Adam Pezanowski. Thank you very much for watching. So now I'm here with Coach Kropa from Mid Valley Baseball. How you doing today? How'd practice go?
Good, man. It was a good one. Hot one out there, so we'll finish with a little Sunday fun day, little water balloon fight at the end. But
Ooh,
got to
there
keep
you
it
go.
light. But we also have a real big game ahead of us on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So
You guys well prepared and everything?
yeah, I think so. We were able to make some connections with coaches along the way that played Holy Redeemer and got some good information from them. And now we continue to prep and do the little things we've been doing all year to kind of put us in this spot. And yeah, we're feeling good about going on Tuesday. Feeling good.
Absolutely. And from what I believe, this is your first district title game since 2019, and you guys lost by a walk-off 5-4.
Yes, it was 18, and but yeah, it was
Or
the lake one.
2018,
Yeah, it was the lake one, and we qualified for state still too, but that's no longer the case in 3A now. So it's one team. You have to win it to get into state playoffs now. So that's a goal of ours, and it's been that since last June when we started working out with the guys along the way too. So
Yeah,
now
absolutely.
it's that much closer now.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're excited about it.
A lot of work in the off season. How are the guys really going into the postseason? Really thinking, what's their mentality? What's their goals?
Yeah, no, we're playing some really good baseball right now. So this is like I said, that we have a lot of younger guys that kind of stepped up in big spots this year, and they've been with us, working with us since about June. And then as we got closer in the fall, we've got the team kind of started getting together and closer. And we've been real tight since March,
Yeah.
And I think again, playing our better baseball at this time too is the best thing you could ask for. And we hit a nice stride, and we had a huge game the other day against Riverside, and they've been our nemesis the last bunch of years along the
Yeah.
way. So to get them twice now, back-to-back games, and one to get us a district championship too. I know we're feeling good. Our confidence is up, but we still got to take care of business. So job's not done. Job's not done yet.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So, coaching at your alma mater, what's it like? What was you really like? Were you always kind of like, oh, I want to come back and coach baseball?
I was actually, yes. I played on the Kings, and when I came back, I was lucky enough to get a teaching job at Mid Valley, and then I was a junior high assistant for my first couple years. That was always my goal. Coach Urso was there when I was there, and he was still the head coach when I became on staff in the junior high. So yeah, when he left, and Coach Runko was in between there a little bit too before I took over, and it was always a dream per se, to be here in this spot too, to be able to support my school and give back to the school that made me the man and dad and coach and counselor that I am today. So it's awesome to be able to make some memories for the kids.
Now, how does your job? Obviously, you're a guidance counselor. How does that really like tie into coaching when you're working with all these different kids from who like some of these kids are. Every person's different. So how does that really tie in when you're working with baseball players? Especially?
Absolutely. No, I think it too. And there's 17 guys in our our varsity roster right now too. And I think each one of them has to be coached a little bit differently. So relationships are really important to me as a person and as a coach. So I like to be able to have that communication there back and forth with the guys too. And there's some guys maybe it can be a little bit harder on in certain situations, and some guys you gotta bring them in for a little hug sometimes along the way too. So it is a delicate balance. But the only you can do is do your best. And I have 7 other guys on our staff that are just fantastic to be with, and we all kind of come from different areas too. We have Coach Kaharsk, who's that younger guy that along the way too, and Coach Hoop has been instrumental in our off-season workouts, and Coach Shev again does what he does with working relationships, and Coach Janoski along the way. Coach Benazzi was on that team, that 2018 team. Him and Coach Kaharski too. So it's cool to have them kind of tell little stories along the way about their memories from then, and making some more for these guys along the way as well. And then we have Coach Moore, who's been our volunteer assistant, and he's been around so much. The last couple of years, he's been asking to try to help us out a little bit too, and we saw an opportunity, and he's been fantastic. So, guys are lucky enough to have some great guys along the way. We just try to surround ourselves with the best people we could be, and again, we're in a pretty good spot to do so now. So,
absolutely. So now you're going into district game Tuesday, I believe, right?
Yes,
Down
sir.
at PNC, 4:30 p.m.
3:30.
3:30.
Yep.
So now you're going down. How are you preparing them mentally when you're going down there and you're kind of they haven't been in this environment in quite a bit. So how are you kind of preparing the guys when you're on your way down there, even the night before? How are you talking to them? What are you saying to them?
Yeah, we're trying to keep it, I guess, as normal as we possibly could. That's another game. We've kind of been saying that the last couple of games of our season, we've been saying, like, this is kind of the playoff atmosphere. We want to kind of start doing it now because when it does matter, we don't want that extra pressure. And there's going to be extra pressure. It's a district championship game.
Yeah.
It's in a professional baseball stadium. There's a lot on the line. But we're trying to keep it as normal as we could, even like our practice plans along the way, too. And but it will be different. Even on Friday when we went down to Riverside, not being in school and being in there and being able to have a full IO on the field, I was a little bit anxious, so I'm glad I wasn't playing that day and the guys were.
Yeah.
But I know we're trying to keep it like at the same kind of routine then too, but it will be different and just kind of remind us, hey, you become confident because of the work you put in, So kids have been working hard, 6 days a week, 2.5 hours a day for the last 3 months or so. So we're ready to go, man. We're ready to get that opportunity, and Redeemer's a good team, but and we're playing some good baseball as well. So
Yeah, and I know I was around a little bit to see it in the fall and everything. All those guys putting in work all off season, and I think it's definitely well deserved for all of you guys. I'm very, very happy. I hope both baseball and softball win district champions. I mean, how awesome would that be to have track, baseball, and softball all win district championships?
Absolutely.
So it's definitely. It's going to be interesting. I'm very excited to watch you guys play.
No, it's a credit to our school, too, and for the beautiful facilities we have, too, from our administration to our school board. To give us opportunities to be here and flip the lights on during the fall and to be able to go in there, even in the winter, and be outside, too. And I know Coach Piercy and I talk about how lucky our guys are and how lucky we are to be able to get work on there day in and day out without worries of weather in Northeast Pennsylvania. And Coach Kaz has been there, man. That track program is fantastic as well. So it's nice to be a group with those guys, too. Have been in the district championships, too. And Coach Piercy and his girls have been there, pretty consistently the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So, it's a little newer for our guys because, like you said, we haven't kind of been there since, 18. But, again, it's been a goal of ours. And, we're just trying to enjoy every moment, make some good memories along the way, and stay in the moment while we're there, too. Not worrying about what happened or what can happen, but stay in the moment and focus on what our job is.
Yeah. Now, obviously – like every time, it's everybody's goal to be a district champion the entire year. Now, have you guys, since the beginning of the year, was there anything that you guys were really, beginning of the year, where you're like, yo, listen, we're competing for a district championship, or did you guys kind of just play along? You guys were like, keep winning, keep doing your thing, don't worry about, downplay the big situation.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at, and we kind of tried to stay in the moment and, take it one game at a time, and knowing that, we can't control things, can't control the uncontrollables, so we got to focus on what we can control. And once you get down towards the end of the season, though, it's a little bit different because you're looking at seeding, you're looking at you beat this team, and that team lost to that team, so the power sorry about that.
Yeah, all good.
But the way the power rankings are kind of set up too, it does matter, So I think I didn't bring that up to the guys along the way too. They kind of found the website there along the way to kind of check on that too.
Yeah.
But we just tried to kind of obviously be that goal. But as the season got closer to the end, it was more trying to think ahead, but not too far think ahead because our league is tough, So I think it's prepared us for the tough district championship or district road to district championship anyway. So, and we had to come through Riverside, and Lakewood and Dunmore were there along the way then too. So, I think that kind of helped us playing those harder teams along the way, and even like the Abington Heights that put a whooping on us, but I think it helped us kind of know that we want to hang with the big boys, man. We got to do some things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So.
And I think you guys definitely. I don't think a lot of people expected to see Mid Valley go into a district championship, so it's fantastic. I mean, I love seeing the underdog go in, and I mean, I'm really pumped for this game. I can't wait. I know a lot of my buddies play on there. I'm just pumped for it. Now, how are your older guys kind of preparing the younger guys throughout the I mean, we can talk throughout the season. Have they really been helping out the younger guys?
They have, man. So we have a really great group of young guys that are, have worked hard and we're throwing some big opportunities and had to fill in some big spots along the way, been successful. And I credit that to, Coach Coop, Coach Kaharsk for all the off-season kind of work they put into it. And I can't say enough about Zach Angelo, setting the stage he was there all fall, all the time then too, and even Jordan Ricciardi kind of stepping up in there and taking some guys underneath their wing, and we got a bunch of juniors that are just fantastic as well, and they almost without even asking kind of took some of the guys underneath their wing and kind of led by example along the way then too, and then you have sophomores like Nick Mills and then Brett Leonowski who have been having great years and they still have room to grow, man, right? So we hope to be back there again, and but we got to make the best for Jordan and Ange, because this is their last rodeo, man. So if we can go on a high note with them and thank them for all the guidance they've given us along the way, then too, I'd love to send them out like that.
Definitely. Now, when you played at Kings, was there a coach that really inspired you to go be a coach, or was it kind of just I'm gonna go coach after this, or was it kind of? Did you have like a mentor?
Yeah, I guess I kind of just love the game. I love baseball, and I kind of wanted to make sure I know like Division III was my thing there too. I know I wasn't gonna go play professionally, even though that was always the goal, man. But no, I think as I got to enjoy the game, got to really learn about it, and Coach Brogna, who was up at Keystone actually with Coach Shevchik right now as an assistant, and then I had a guy come in, my Coach Sorber, my last 2 years. But there was Coach Zafudo from Pittston. He's actually Pittston's head coach now too, and he was one of our assistants there. And he was just awesome to be around, man. Like, he was just a ball of energy all the time and just so knowledgeable about the game. And he's still a Pittston area, and Pittston area is really successful. So my first year after I graduated, I was down in Pittston for a year, and I just kind of got to see like what a program looks like and what it could look like, and all the different opportunities there along the way too. And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, like I would like to have that opportunity, you know, especially for my school. You know, go back to the school that made me the guy I thought I could be, and give back to the community that we brought me here, man. So I think probably Coach Zafudo was probably a good guy to want to be like, and again, his program's successful. I would like our guys to be there as well too. So I guess he would be my mentor kind of guy, and Coach Ursel, of course, because he was my high school coach, and I still see him now, and he still throws me bazooka, bubble gum. That was his big thing back in the day. But even Dunkin' Donuts the other day, he threw me one. So good guy. Yeah. So again, to make him happy, to make him proud of the school, the program that he kind of created, to have me be a player in it, and I'll be able to coach in it. Him and Coach Zaff have big parts of my spot to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, did you play any other sports when you were in high school?
Yeah, I did actually. Did football and basketball. I hurt my ankle in the end of football season my senior year, so I didn't really play much basketball. But I actually went to Kings to play football and baseball.
Oh,
so
really?
That's why I went to Kings. Silly me thinking I could play 2 sports in Division III, but I didn't enjoy football as much in college. High school was awesome. A lot of memories in there too. Yeah. But baseball was my kind of thing. I really got to great group of guys that I got to meet along the way then too. Some lifelong friends. Rich Pezanowski, who's my roommate and actually a coach up at Abington now, and his wife teaches Mid Valley. So it's cool to kind of develop those relationships along the way then too. That's what I think our guys are doing right now too. Making those bridges, making those relationships there too with our guys and even guys throughout the league. And Jordan and Ange even had an opportunity to play in the senior All-Star game that are coming up too.
Oh,
so
really?
Jordan unfortunately will be on vacation. He's going to miss it. But no, Zach will be able to be there, and that's what it's about, man. There's baseball's more than just the game. It's a part of life as well, and you make some good people along the way, and then you get to enjoy it and live as much as you can with it.
Yeah. Now, being a student athlete in college, what's your biggest advice for people that are going into college for a school? Because I don't think a lot of people realize college sports, it's a job. You're there from early in the morning till late at night. Yeah. So what's one piece of advice you could give to those guys?
I think time management's important, dude. You got to kind of be able to manage your time along the way then too. And college is different than high school. And I know we have a lot of guys that we have a great school here, but the expectations are a little bit different in college. And there's no one there to kind of watch you and hold your hand along the way then too, especially if you go away. But I was lucky enough, at Kings, they had a mandatory study group for all the freshmen that came in. So that was kind of cool to kind of help you learn some habits along the way then too. And just kind of find out what works for you, man. But knowing that you got to budget your time better because there's not someone there, especially if you're away at school, to kind of remind you then too, because it's not easy. And stay on top of your studies along the way then too. And every day, one at a time, man. Right? Can't think too much farther one way. Just kind of like baseball. But I would think time management is huge to be part of, and just be responsible, have your expectations kind of there, know what you want to do, and set a plan to go there, just like sports kind of.
Absolutely. Yep. Okay, so we're gonna end it here. Thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me.
This is Pez Podcast Show. This is Coach Ryan Kropa. I'm Adam Pezanowski. Thank you very much.
Have a great night, guys.